Hey guys, welcome back to Old Guy Talks Money. I want to start today's video by asking y'all some questions. Are you tired of being broke? You tired of living paycheck to paycheck? You want to keep your financial house from burning down? Well, today I'm going to give you the solution. Now, before we get started, did you know that the average credit card debt per person in this country is almost $5,700? I think it's $5,733 per person. Did you know that the average household debt was over $104,000? Staggering. Now let's look at some of this data by age. All right, so we have the median income, which will give us a good guidance because around that center point where half is above and half is below, most of our numbers are going to be centered around there until you get to the outliers on the sides as you move right and left. Show the median household debt and the average hourly wage. I think the takeaway from me is that, in that 30-year period between 35 and 64, income hovers around that 65,000-ish range, and that average debt's roughly in that 90,000 range till you get closer and closer to retirement, where it drops to $69,000. When I pulled this data, I was just shocked. To think that you're making $65,000 and you're carrying almost $90,000 worth of debt scares me to death. And it's staggering how big that is. So what do you do? Okay, you're making $65,000 and you owe roughly 90. You don't want your financial house to burn down. You're living paycheck to paycheck. You always feel broke. What's the solution? Well, I'm going to tell you. But before I do, guys, I'm going to give you the opportunity to take the blue pill and tap out. Take the red pill and wake up. Why am I doing this? Well, as we move through the video, I want the people to hear the solution, want to hear the solution. I want them to want to make a change. I feel like so many people are going to say I'm being unfair and I just don't understand. And I get that. Life's not fair. It's not ever going to be fair. I heard someone say that life is like a poker game. Sometimes as we're young, we're dealt, really good hands and our life's really easy. And sometimes we're dealt, two twos. I can't help that. It's just what it is. What I can tell you is I do know what the answer is. It's elegantly simple. It's hard to implement. So here we go. You want to tap out, hit the like, subscribe, come back when you're ready. Watch some of the other content. That's fair. I'm going to count it down and then we're going to move on. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, red pillars, you're going to wake up to the harsh reality and truth. And I'm going to tell you the solution. How do we stop living paycheck to paycheck? Stop being broke? Keep our financial house from burning down. And when I tell you this, you're going to say, sheesh, you went through all these machinations and made it sound like you were going to give us some great revelation like Bitcoin or some MLM or the lottery. And this is what you told us? But you need to hear it and you need to believe it because, again, the answer is elegantly simple. It's just the application is incredibly hard. So what's the answer? For y'all have two choices. You have two levers that you can pull or push. You can either reduce your expenses or increase your income. And that's it. Incredibly simple, incredibly hard to implement. You see, when we look at it, we all make money and we all spend money. But the only way to change the bottom line is to either increase what we're bringing in or decrease what's going out. And then we can use that additional to save for a house, pay down debt, save for retirement. Whatever your financial goal is, you can solve it by one of those two levers, preferably both. If you're in that camp of, well, you're 60 years old, you're getting ready to retire, you don't get where I am, I'm going to tell you a little story. Back in 2002, I went through a divorce. It happens. But everything was in my name. I had a house, 2 cars, everything was financed, 1 income now. It was a bad time. It took me about 4.5 years to dig out of that. Sell the cars, bought a beater, sold the house, paid off all the debt, and then started over. I've been there, y'all. I know what it's like. Now, if you said that was, 20 years ago, okay, that's fair. I think 2002, 22 years ago, that's fair. Things were cheaper then. Maybe times were easier. Okay. I cannot change the hand that you are currently playing. What I can do is tell you the smart things you're going to have to do to play that hand better. So, how can we increase our income? Well, the first thing I would do if I was y'all is to think, what can I do in my existing profession at my current job? When was my last raise? Can I ask for one? Is there a promotion I can get? Is there a way I can transfer? The other thing I would do is if none of those work, could I look for another job? The other thing I would do is get a side hustle. Back when I was going through this, Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Instacart, none of that was an option. What we did was eBay. We would get up every Saturday morning, hit the yard sales, and then flip stuff on eBay. It really helped us a lot. Pay down debt, stay above water, pay for Christmases. That was the thing that we focused on. If you have a skill, so for instance, I play guitar a little bit, not good enough to teach, but if I was good enough to teach, I would absolutely do that. Maybe teach art, maybe tutor. You may be good in math or English. Absolutely opportunities there. Maybe babysit, especially if you have kids. Maybe there's a way that you can watch other people's kids. Stay in your home, make some side money that way. Use apps. Now I use Ibotta when I buy groceries. It's one of those things you scan your receipt, not going to get rich. Probably made $120, $130. Every time I buy gas, I use Upside, get X number of cents back per tank. I live really close to work. I don't buy a lot of gas, maybe a tank or two a month, but I absolutely use it. And I probably made $75 or so on that just for doing stuff that I'm already going to do. Look for those opportunities. Cut grass. I have a cousin that he loves it, and I don't personally enjoy it, but that's what he does. He goes and he'll walk up to doors, knock on it, and say, "Hey, you want me to cut your grass?" Got to get creative. Got to get over the stigma of asking people if there's something you can do for them. Got to decide you want this and get after it. Now, what about on the expense side? Well, from looking at the data, 69.2% of what we take in goes to three areas: housing, food, and transportation. First thing I do is look at my housing. Is there anything there I can do to reduce that cost? Now's not the time to refinance a mortgage, but keep that in your back pocket, because when rates come down, you may have a chance for that. When I went through my situation, I took in a roommate till I could sell the house. Maybe consider moving to a lower cost of living area. Look for ways to reduce your utility cost. Cook home, eat out less. You'd be surprised at how much money you can save by eating at home. My wife teases me that if anything ever happens to her, I will never leave the house, and I will see how long I can live off of rice and beans, because I just want to see how frugal I can be. Cook more at home. Start a budget. Get a handle on where your spendings go. Possibly evaluating selling your car. That's what I did. I sold both cars, ended up buying a 98 Honda Civic. We drove the crap out of that car. I think when we got rid of it, it had 250,000 miles on it. It was a great car, but we drove that thing into the ground. Maybe consolidate debt. Now, this one makes me a little nervous. I know too many people that have consolidated debt or done a credit card transfer and not free up credit and end up making things worse. They double down, and the next thing you know, they owe the original and then some. Don't do that. Shop your insurance. It's a big deal. Think about what I said. Three major costs are housing, food, transportation. Well, on two of those, more than likely, you're going to have some type of insurance policy, either on your home, renter's insurance on an apartment, and then your car insurance. If you've got a loan, you're going to carry full coverage. If not, you're going to carry at least liability. So consider shopping your insurance. Guys, I know this is not easy. I get it. I know there's going to be a population of people that have listened to me and are mad as hell. I'm sitting here telling them what to do, and I just don't get it. And I'm sorry. You know, my wife and I talk about my channel a lot, even though it's small. It's interesting to me, and I really want to help people. And she says, "Oh, guy, you talk in these guidelines. Okay, you shouldn't buy a house if it's more than 25% of your gross income, or when you buy a car, you should put 20% down, finance it for 3 years, and it not be more than 8% of your income, or use the 50-30-20 rule." She keeps telling me, "You don't understand. Those things are not going to work for people that are struggling." And she's right. I can tell you to budget 50-30-20 all day long, but if you're already spending 80-85% on your needs, that budget will not work. I like to say that dog will not hunt. So this was my attempt to say, okay, if those guidance, those guidelines, parameters will not work for you, but they're sound and true, then maybe what you need to do is get to the point where you can apply them. Think about your goals. Do you want to save for retirement, pay down debt, buy a house? Telling you those two levers, make more money, spend less money, will help you get there faster. So in conclusion, I've got one other thing I want to say. If you really want to make a change, if you really want things to improve, got to stop making excuses, start making changes. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Hope you found it educational, maybe a little entertaining. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. It will help me grow the channel, and I will see you in the future.